Hare Jaya Chaitanya to inspire us for today's MSF, Monthly Sankirtan Festival, and with your blessing, hopefully, we will distribute a lot of books today.
Okay. Should I sit here?
It's up to you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So, welcome everybody.
How you doing?
Really happy to be here. You know, in New York, there's a lot of places you can go and speak. You can maybe speak at Madison Square Garden. I think it packs like 30,000 people. You can maybe speak at the Yankee Stadium. But for a devotee, this is like Madison Square Garden. This is Yankee Stadium. This is higher than all of that. This is where it all started. So, very happy and feel honored to speak at a place like this. And really in the right mood, especially after that kirtan by Vera. Vera's like one of my best friends and one of my most favorite kirtaniyas. So every time he sings, it's kind of like I get into my theme song mode. I like get pumped up, get ready. So I guess today we'll speak a little bit about book distribution. I kind of want to talk about the history regarding Srila Prabhupada, especially being in this place. And then we'll get into some maybe stories and practical strategies and what we're doing at the moment. So it's October, and October is actually a very special month for anybody who's in New York. Can anybody say why October is a special month?
Because of Kartik.
Yes, okay, Kartik, definitely. But what else?
Preparing for book marathon?
Book marathon, okay, that's also special. But something more in connection to Srila Prabhupada. Why is October so special for New Yorkers?
The first public kirtan.
Yeah, actually, it was the first time Prabhupada came to New York. It was in October of 1965. So, just feeling that energy. And, it's raining right now, but hopefully we can make it rain books. That's the goal. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about just the scene, the scenario that Srila Prabhupada was in. During the time, 1965, there was actually a musician. His name was Charles Hoyt. And he wrote a song called The Bowery. And the lyrics went something like, the Bowery, I'll never go there again. So it's just amazing that this is where Srila Prabhupada started his movement. At the time, just like some statistics, there was about 7,000 to 8,000 homeless people in the Bowery. And, there was a lot of crime, a lot of drugs, a lot of poverty, but somehow Srila Prabhupada came out of that like a lotus. And we have this concept of the three modes of material nature. So you can say like a brothel or a place like that. That's the mode of ignorance. And a city where it's all boom boom, passion and action. That's mode of passion. And like a forest, something very tranquil, very calm. That's mode of goodness. But Srila Prabhupada actually considered the Bowery to be transcendental, because he was always seeing Krishna everywhere. And Srila Prabhupada said that my place of shelter is not bricks and wood, but it's always at the lotus feet of Krishna in every single circumstance. So having that type of meditation when we're out there is extremely important. We say like, yes, let's be Krishna conscious, but when I distribute books, I try to be Prabhupada conscious, because I feel that he's actually at the center. So the more we can absorb in some of his pastimes and how he came from a place of struggle to a place of triumph and victory, it will strengthen us and we will be triumphant as well. So that's very important. And at the time, Srila Prabhupada's audience, there was mostly musicians. So a lot of musicians were coming to Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada adjusted. He said, oh, Bhagavad Gita, this is the song of God. And he would talk always about mantras and Sanskrit and meditation. And like that, he was starting to attract all these beginners. And Srila Prabhupada personally, he would go to all these bookstores around New York City and try to distribute his books himself. So that was always there. And this audience that he was dealing with, these just hippies right off the streets, total musicians, within the first few weeks, within even the first few days Srila Prabhupada would meet them, he would say, I want you to become a dedicated preacher for Krishna consciousness. There's nothing more important in this world than to become a dedicated preacher for Krishna. This is how we're going to save the planet. And right away, just off the bat, he just threw that out there. And I think then in 1966, there was a magazine that came by the East Village. And you guys seen that? It says, Save Earth Now. And it's Srila Prabhupada chanting in a park. So this is how we actually become heroes ourselves. A hero is not somebody who builds empires in this world, but a hero is somebody who teaches you how to get out of this world. And that was Srila Prabhupada. And like that, we can then become instruments, clean the clog that's in the instruments, so then we can play beautiful sounds as well. So this is a mission of helping. We're just trying to help others. There's a famous American writer named Christopher Morley, and he says that when you give somebody a book, you don't just give them ink, paper, and glue, but you give them a possibility of a whole new life. And we can see that when we give somebody a book, it just transforms our consciousness. How many of us here got a book and became strongly influenced by it? Even if you grew up with the culture, you just read it again and it's like, wow, it's making so much sense. Yeah, so it's so powerful, just these books. I think by Sheshika Prabhu, he says, containers of knowledge, like that, yeah. So it's extremely powerful. And maybe I can just give you a little background of what I've been doing for these last few years. So I've been distributing books for the last 5 years. I've been living in Los Angeles in the Dwarka Ashram. Have any of you guys visited Los Angeles, New Dwarka Ashram? It's known as the Western headquarters of the world. And it's just an amazing place. We have a lot of Prabhupada disciples from around the world that travel specifically to LA because they say that when they're back in LA, New Dwarka, they feel like they're back in the 60s and 70s because everything is so well maintained. And so there's a lot of great fortune there, specifically how many Prabhupada disciples live in the community. And within the first few days of joining the ashram, I met somebody named Brigupati Prabhu. And Brigupati Prabhu has been a world champion book distributor. He's a Prabhupada disciple. He's been distributing books for over 45 years. And the day I met him, it was Christmas Eve, 2013. And his Sankirtan partner had to go home to visit his family for Christmas. So he had an empty seat. And I just approached him and I was saying, I'm inspired by this book distribution and I would love to go out with you sometime. And he's like the type of person where, he's almost like VIP. You gotta like get in line. But he had an empty seat that day. And he was like, well, let's go right now. And I'm like, right now? He's like, yeah, let's go right now. I'm going to the malls. It's Christmas Eve. There's going to be a lot of people. So I was like, I surrender. I'm like, all right, this is like Krishna's will. Let me do it. And since that day, I haven't left his passenger side. I've been just latching on as much as possible. So we've had incredible adventures, traveling all over North America and distributing books, and he's giving all his insight, all his wisdom, all his shakti, just so powerful. And it's like a real adventure when you're distributing books. I remember one time we went to this college university, and we had to set up our table in this really prime location. But before we can go there, there was this big sign that was blocking everybody and was not allowing any cars to enter. And the sign said, "Service workers only." So Brigupati looked at me and he's like, "You know, we're doing service, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're doing service." And then he's like, "And we're working too, right? We're like working right now?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're working. So we're service workers, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess we are service workers." He's like, "All right, let's go." So we just go past all the security checkpoints, set up our table, and just, do huge. And it's just constantly like that, just a lot of adventures and a lot of excitement. And it's interesting because eventually everybody, I feel, is looking for this knowledge. They want these books. They just might not be ready for it. So presenting it in different ways, I think, is really important to attract them to this knowledge. Like, I remember one time I set up a book table, and there was this lady from like 500 feet away, and she saw my sign, she saw the table, and she just started charging at me. And I don't know, I felt like she was like some football running back at that point. She was coming straight at me, and I'm like, holy snaps. And then she comes to the table, and she just like grabs all these books, and she's like, thank you so much. And she's just so happy, so excited. And she's like the typical meditation yoga person. She has like a yoga mat hanging from her purse. She has all this like crystal jewelry. She got yoga pants. She's like all yogaed out. And I'm like, wow, I'm so happy that you're into this. Not so many people are into these types of books. And she was like, if this was 30 days ago, I would have totally dissed your table. I would have totally just disregarded it, walked away, would have had no interest whatsoever 30 days ago. And to me, that was really hard to believe, because here she is with all this gear on, and she's running to the table. So I'm like, what happened in those 30 days? What changed for her? She told me the story. She said she was doing her usual thing. Saturdays and Sundays was club nights, going to the club. And so she was there, she was doing her usual. And then coming back to her car, it was 1 or 2 in the morning. She was kind of stumbling, she was trying to get to her door. And all of a sudden she felt something here. And it was actually a gun. And she got held at gunpoint by somebody. And at that moment, her whole life just froze, and she had all these memories, and she just realized how precious life is. And luckily she got spared, but that became her impetus to get serious about spiritual knowledge. And then she took up yoga and meditation classes, and now she was eagerly trying to get these books. So as I was mentioning, everybody is looking for this knowledge. It's just all about right time, right place. And book distribution, it's not all peaches and cream. We have our struggles out there. We have situations we go through. Like, I know for myself, when I was first starting, I had this anartha, or problem with anger. I would get angry when somebody would disrespect, or somebody would, say something. And, they would like say something, and then I come around the table, I'm like, what's up, homie, you say something? We're like going at it, and I'm like, man, then I had this realization, like, man, I'm a monk. I can't be doing this. I need to like chill out for a second. So then I started setting this intention for myself, that I just want more kindness. I just want to be more kind when I'm out there. And this intention became so strong. They say that when you set an intention, you can then transcend your tension. And so this whole week I was just meditating, let me be more kind, let me be more kind. And then I was put to the test by Krishna. I remember I was going to this college campus and I see this kid and he just looks like, like a normal student, no problem. And I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? Like your kicks, man. Check it out. We're giving out spiritual knowledge. This is the Bhagavad Gita. I think you'll dig it. And he gets the book and he looks at it and he doesn't make any facial reaction. And he's just kind of looking at it. And then he starts going like this and the book is kind of bouncing up and down a little bit. And then he grabs it really tight and he throws it full speed at my face. So at this point, this inner flare was coming out, but because of that intention, it was kind of calming down a little. But then he began to speak, and speaking is an understatement. He actually began to shout, and he started saying, "You are going to hell. Your whole family is going to hell, and you deserve to get your head chopped off." Pretty intense. I realized at that point, like, this guy doesn't want to be my friend. And then he began to speak some more. And then he started to say, Allah is the only God. Allah is the only way. And everyone else deserves to get burned. And I realized right at that moment, I had a Muslim extremist right in front of me. We hear about these things in the news that's going on. Here I got one right in front of me. So what do I do in that situation? And sometimes the best thing to do is to just let go and surrender. They say when you let go, you can let God. And I really believe that happened because I had no answer whatsoever how to even react to such a situation. But I just kind of surrendered, and all of a sudden I felt this type of energy come in and how to respond in the situation. So I said to him, "Oh, you're from the Islam tradition? I actually love your tradition. I actually love your culture. I think it's a beautiful culture. I actually have a nasheed on my phone." Now, for those of you guys who don't know, a nasheed is like an Islamic kirtan. It's an Islamic a cappella. It's really beautiful. And before joining the temple, I used to be a music producer. I used to mix hip-hop music with Eastern sounds. So I had sounds from Cambodia, I had sounds from India, and I also had sounds from the Middle East. And this nasheed was still on my phone, and I haven't heard it in like 4 or 5 years. But all of a sudden, I said it like that. I got a nasheed on my phone, and he was just shocked I knew about a nasheed. He was like, "You got a nasheed on your phone?" And I'm like, yeah, hold on. And I'm like getting my phone out, and I'm like, watch. And you guys can imagine the scene, right? We're in the middle of this campus. This student is yelling at the top of his lungs. It's creating this scene. There's students surrounding us all of a sudden. And all of a sudden, I play this nasheed, and this beautiful a cappella just comes out and like enters the sky. And I could see his eyes. I could see his eyes, and they're starting to moisten. And then he actually like sheds a tear. And then he says, "You know, you're making such an effort to learn about my culture. Let me make an effort to learn about yours." And he took the Bhagavad Gita. So these are the situations that we're put to, and they become magical moments. They become memorable moments that you will always take with you forever. They're like truly gems. It's truly treasure. So I feel that the way to be successful in book distribution is to just become more personal. the more personal we are with the individuals that we're meeting, that is actually a true sign of success. Learning the person's name, shaking their hands. Just like they say, you know, Krishna, we chant Krishna's name because Krishna likes it. Well, people like to hear their names too. So, you know, you learn somebody's name, like his name's Matthew. I'm like, hey Matthew, nice to meet you. And yeah, Matthew, you like this book? And yeah, Matthew, I agree with you. And, you know, I'm just chanting his name. He's like loving it. Like, wow. He's like, he likes me. So, this is how we go about it. This is how we become more influential in people's lives, just by becoming more personal, having this heart-to-heart connection as much as possible when we're distributing books. And that will go a long way, because we live in a very impersonal generation. Everybody's on their phones, everybody's doing different things, but if we can just show real human emotion and empathy, then that really connects to them. Like I remember last year I gave this book to this college student named Brisa, and I gave her The Coming Back. And then a few days later I see her at the temple, and I'm like, you know, I gave you The Coming Back and you came back. You're here. And she's like, I just read this book, it like really changed my life, etc., etc. I'm like, you know, that's great. We actually have some college programs at your university. She went to USC, University of Southern California. Please come. So she started coming to the USC programs. She got really involved. Within 4 months, she was on a plane to Sadhu Sangha this year. She was like the newest person at Sadhu Sangha. You know how Sadhu Sangha is, it's very internal. But she was there, she was just eating it up, she was loving it. Then she started to become a volunteer. She started to really help, almost become a manager. Just last month there was this Vaishnavi retreat with elders like Vishaka Mataji, Malati Mataji, and she was there, and she went, and she was just feeling this mood of gratitude. About 2 weeks ago, I would say this happened. She was feeling like a lot of gratitude, so she called me. She's like, you know, I'm just so thankful for everything that you've done. You've given me this book, it's changed my life, you've cultivated me, and I just want to do something for you. So we also have a restaurant at USC, and she's been volunteering there. So she was like, you know, I'm gonna bring you the meal today, so you can have. And she was gonna leave it somewhere, and you know, it was like Mexican lunch, so it was like enchiladas and all these things. I'm a huge enchilada fan, and you know, so then I ate it, and then I called her, and I just wanted to say like thank you, you know, for doing that. And you know, with new people, I kind of use new language sometimes, so I just naturally said, you know, thank you for the food. I really appreciate it. And she was like, don't call it food, it's prashad. You don't say food. I'm like, oh damn, you're one-upping me. So it's amazing to see like people's transformations that take place. And it's all through these books. Srila Prabhupada said that my society is not built by bricks, but it's built by books. So this is the foundation. And the more we can take that into our hearts, the more incredible things we can do. So I'll just give this last vision of New York City that recently took place. I came to New York about 2-3 months ago, and at that time we were having a retreat with my spiritual master Radhanath Swami, and we went to upstate New York, and we spent like this real intimate time with him. And then at the end, and the last day, he wanted everyone to kind of share their reflections, how they were feeling. So when it got to me, I said, you know, Maharaj, currently I'm staying at this Grihastha couple's place. Their names are Bhakta Ian and Shama Sundari. And they live on the 38th floor of a tower. Really nice place, and you can see all of New York City. And you can also see the Statue of Liberty very clearly. So I was describing this place to Maharaj, and I said, you know, I really appreciate the Statue of Liberty, but after coming to the Bhakti Center and seeing Shri Radha Mulidhar, I realized they're the real statues of liberty. And everyone like kind of laughed or whatever. And then Maharaj, he gave like an amazing purport to that. And he said, actually, in Chaitanya Leela, when the Chandkazi was causing problems for the devotees when they were doing Sankirtan, they came with torchlights to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement. So in the same way, that Statue of Liberty represents a torchlight to take over New York City, to inaugurate New York City with this Sankirtan mood, to flood the gates as much as possible. So now it's our mission, it's our duty to take up this responsibility and just do incredible things for Srila Prabhupada and this Vaishnava movement. So that's what I had to say today, to just kind of inspire, and really appreciate you guys being here. If you guys have any questions on personal tactics, strategies, I would say now's the time to ask and I can answer. But thank you very much.
Maybe you can share your personal tactics and strategies, because like a lot of people here are completely new to book distribution. They have no experience. Like for example me, I tried it a couple of times and like not successful at all. So they kind of have a fear to go to people and like I think that I bother them and like so maybe if you can describe like your strategies, how to overcome this fear and like what to tell people when they come.
For 2.5 years, I was distributing books with backpacks. I would fill it up and go to all these music events and conferences and almost like sneak in. You're always watching out for the security guard. And we have a nickname for the security guards. They're called the Yamadutas. So, anytime there's like a Yamaduta approaching, like one devotee calls the other devotees, he's like, hey, Yamaduta coming. And they're like, what? Yamaduta coming? We all like spread in all 5 directions. So it was like, you're always like antsy. It's fun. It's a lot of adventure. But I was thinking, there's got to be a better way to this. So I realized for myself that, of course, there's many different tactics to book distribution. They're all very wonderful. But if somebody was trying to stop me as I'm walking down the street, my natural reflex would be to kind of, go the other way, unless they did something very creative and something innovative. Then I would have stopped. But I was thinking, let's try something different. So I started to set up these tables, and it was good. It was a start. Felt a little bit better, but still I could see that a lot of people were just walking by. So then I'm like, we gotta like display who we are. We gotta let these people know like what we represent. So then I just made this simple sign that said yoga meditation books. And it's just that sign is there. And all of a sudden people see it. They're like, oh, yoga meditation books. I'm into yoga. I'm into meditation. Let me go check this out. And all of a sudden you're filtering out all the ones who are not interested, and you're attracting the ones who are. And I was like, wow, this is really amazing. And I remember one time I had to pick Vaisheshika Prabhu from the airport. So he was asking me, all right, so what new strategies are you doing? What's different? What's going on? And I told him, like, we're trying this table and sign tactic. And he's like, oh, right away he said, oh, there's a saying in business that a business without a sign is a sign of no business. And we're all just like, duh. Like, it's so simple. So we started implementing these tables and signs, and we started going to Denver and Arizona, and I heard now they're doing it in Africa and the UK, and it's just like really spreading. And it's just really wonderful, because all of a sudden you have the courage and confidence. Those who felt like they could never distribute books anymore, they just have to stand in front of the table. People will come to you. You just gotta be nice. You gotta be personal. Explain what it's about, and you'll see the magic. It's really amazing. Like I was explaining about all the problems we had with the cops, aka the Yamadutas. Now, I remember one time I was at this book table, and all of a sudden this SUV cop car pulls right up in front, and there's like 8 cops that just like come out of it. I'm like, oh man, what's about to happen? They're approaching me. I'm like, man, I'm about to get shut down. Like, this is it, guys. I'm going down. And
Cops in LA are really nasty too.
Yeah, LA cops. They're special category, special tattva, and they start to then surround the table. I'm like, oh man, this is it. And then the cop, he's like, you know, my wife, she's been telling me I need to get into this meditation and yoga. Do you have any meditation books? And I'm like, yeah. And there's the other cop. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to get into it too. I need to do some stretching. I need to like calm myself. I'm like, yeah, I got that for you too. And then there's like this fat cop. He was like humongous, and he saw the higher taste. He's like, is that a cookbook? And I'm like, yeah, it's a cookbook. He's like, man, I'm trying to eat better. I'm like, here you go. So like that, we're like distributing books to cops, to teachers, to professors, to students, to everybody. Everybody's coming to the table, and we become a lot more bona fide in that fashion. So I would say that is the tactic and strategy, is just try to present yourself in an attractive way, and just be personal yourself as much as possible. And you can do cool things, like if you guys want me to be really practical, do any of you guys use Square here to take credit card donations? So this is something that I started doing, and it really works. Sometimes this is the problem, right? To ask for the donation. It's always very tricky. What do we say? So I realized that people who would give maybe $1 or $2, because if you say, yeah, just give a donation, they're going to go for the lowest amount. And if you say a lot of people give 10, 20, 5, that can work too. But what I started doing was not even saying the amount, not even saying that, because it just has this negative connotation. You almost all of a sudden become like a hustler from a monk if you say like a price. So what I did was on the Square. Can anyone pull up Square on their phone? And
Square, like application on Square?
Yeah, just the app. So I'll just show you exactly what I've been doing. Yeah. Here we go. Okay, so depending on what you give them now, what I like to do is make people sets. I don't just give them 1 or 2 books, but I ask them a lot of questions. I really protocol them and probe them and just see exactly where they're at. What's their hobbies? What are their interests? What's something new that they're wanting to get into, and based on that, I'll custom make the book for them or the package for them. So all of a sudden they got this set, and depending on the cost, price, etc., I just try to work it out. So when it comes time for the donation, I say, yeah, and most people are giving this. It's just like a good luck number. Can you do that?
What is this?
It says 1111, and I can't tell you how many people are excited to give 1111. They actually feel like, wow, 1111, this is cool. I want to give 1111. They might have given you like $2-3, but they see 1111, like, wow, that's kind of cool. Or if you make them a big set, I put this, and that's 2020. And I'm like, you give 2020, you'll have perfect vision. Like that. So these are like different cool, fun, like just keep it fun throughout the whole time. Just keep it fun from the beginning down to the donation and after, following through, showing that you have a real interest for them. This really goes a long way. So I would say this is the tactic that I have. It's just be fun, just have that mood, be personal, and you'll see that it really works.
Why 1111 not 1008?
You can do 1008. I'm thinking most people don't exactly know what 1008 means, like outside. So, but it's up to you. You could even ask them, so what's your favorite number? They might say 8. So I'll be like, oh, can you give 888? it works. It's like really powerful. So this is how we can go about collecting donations, and yeah, like that. Any other?
Can you exactly say this like line? What you say before this donation? How you ask for donation?
Yeah. So I'll say that, you know, what I do is I have some free books on the table. So as soon as they come, they at least get something for free. So they get a small free book. And then I say, and if you like to read, we're actually making packages for everybody today, and they're just leaving a donation to help out. Would you like to see the package? So right there and then, they don't get confused. The free sign is actually it's like a double-edged sword. So we have to be careful with it, because if they say free sign and then you come and they think it's free and then all of a sudden you ask for a donation, they're going to think like we're changing them up. We're trying to double-cross them a little. So we have to be very clear in our presentation. Right away, these are the free books. If you like to read, I can make you a set. They're donation-based. Would you like to see the set? They say, yeah. I start building the set for them. And so this is the set, and most people are just leaving this as a good luck number to just help out. Would you be able to help out? Like that, real simple. And it works. So this is what we can do, yes?
I'd imagine many people might say, no, I'll just take the free one and I'm not interested.
That happens sometimes. It happens a lot less than we would think, because most people, they might even say, no, I don't want the set, but I just want this one. And it's going to be like, okay, just give whatever you can. But let's just say that they just want the free book, and that's all they want. Still, you can be like, okay, that's fine. Maybe you can give your email. You can exchange the free book for the email. Exchange something. I actually make that clear right away, that if you want a free book, just leave your email. And I've been going to schools and colleges and literally collecting 200 to 300 emails a day. A lot of big-time businesses and marketing professionals, they know the value of an email, and they really try to work hard in collecting this data and information. And here we're doing it so easily, so effortlessly. So like that, it's never a loss if you can at least collect an email.
And
Yeah.
if they say, why do you want my email?
We'll just say we want to invite you for some of our events around the local area. Yeah. I also say things like, if as soon as they come to the table, make it seem like this is a special event. This is a special time. And I'll be like, welcome to the table. It's World Enlightenment Day, or it's Meditation Week, or it's Mindfulness Tuesday, something like that. And they'll be like, wow, I'm so lucky. I came on this day. This is great. It's like meant to be. I was praying for this, you know. So like that. Yeah, it's just great, yes.
And what books are for free usually?
The small books, so Perfection of Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Easy Journey to Other Planets. I've seen that these covers really attract people, especially Perfection of Yoga, Easy Journey to Other Planets. People are really meditating on those covers. So I try to give those out. And those are only like 50 cents. And at the end of the day, you'll always make up for it. I think that in order to be truly successful in book distribution, we need to have these 6 qualities, these 6 opulences that Krishna has. Does anybody know these 6 opulences? Can anybody say?
Strength, beauty, knowledge, renunciation, wealth, power.
Power is strength. Yeah, fame. Fame. So how to apply this to book distribution? Wealth. Look like you're presentable. You're not in need of this person. You're okay. You're all right. That also goes into beauty. You're presentable. Fame. Try to leave such a good impression on the person that you're dealing with that they're gonna want to tell other people and bring them to you. This happens all the time. They've had such a good experience that they go tell their friends come to me. They say, my friend told me about this table, he just got some books, I would like the same package. That's fame. Strength, exercise, look healthy, again with beauty. And knowledge, know about the books. If somebody asks you a question, you have knowledge about what you're studying, what you're reading. You're not just out there like a salesman, but you're a mercy man. You know how to give the mercy to people. And then renunciation is the point I was getting to. We have to act like we're not attached to the donation as much as possible. Like that's the least of our interests. We just want to take care of you. And having that renunciation to the amount that they're giving us. Because at the end of the day, one guy might give you $1 for a package, that's all they could afford, and another guy might give you $20. And if you just add it up at the end of the day, it always works out. Krishna's the richest, he's gonna take care of us. So I've seen that 100% every single time. It's without fail. So have that type of mood, you'll be all good. Yeah. Yes.
How many books would you say that you've distributed in the last 5 years or so?
They recently counted it up. I think it was 200,000 to 300,000 books, and that's from this set technique. A lot of times, especially November, December, I would maybe even give 20 books to one person, 25 books to one person. They take it home for Christmas gifts to their friends and family. So this set technique is really powerful, and I think it's also important to just try to fuel and supply and fulfill this set technique in whatever way you can. Support this set technique, so you don't just give them 20 books and it's like, all right, here you go, have fun carrying that. But have like bags with you, have all these ways to kind of support this set technique, and all these little additions go a long way. Yeah.
And you collect all those emails, and you really like follow up with them or not?
So we have a newsletter. Currently in LA, we have about 4 to 5 programs every single week for new people. So Monday we have the USC club, everybody's welcome. Tuesday we have the UCLA club, everybody's welcome. Wednesday we do something at a yoga center. And Thursday we have a program called Mantra House, where everybody from all the different schools accumulate to this one center. So like that, we're just trying to keep people engaged as much as possible. And it's nice, they feel like they found their home. Ultimately, that's what we're trying to give people, their spiritual home. That's actually the logo, the mantra of the Bhakti Center, your spiritual home. So we feel that we've really created a place where people can come, they can unwind, they can learn about wisdom and culture and all these different principles and plug in. And I'm just thankful to be part of the New York mission. I think it's going to be incredible. And I encourage you guys to also make it rain today as much as possible. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.